Welcome to the after show. Hey, what's up, guys? What's going on? Welcome back to Puck Nation. This is what, Yianni, episode, 25?
25, guys. Milestone episode.
Look at that. Episode number 25.
Quarter century.
Yeah, really. And we're excited today, man. Today is a good one. I'll tell you why. We have not ex sounds like it's a chick. No. We have a former NHLer, man. And one of the good ones, man. We got Mr. Bobby Ryan on the program. Yianni, bring in Bobby, please. Yeah.
Here we go, Bobby Ryan.
Here we go, Bobby. What's up, man?
What's
How you
going
doing?
on?
How's
I'm
it going,
doing
man?
great. Yeah, what an intro, Mimmo. Thank you so much.
You see that? You see? That's awesome, man. Thank you for doing this, man. Honest to God, thank you so much for doing this. And like I was telling the guys before, we're going to jump right into it. That's what I like to do. Just jump right into it. I got so many questions for you. Look, you're the real deal, man. You're the real deal. You did it. I want to know one thing, okay? Oh. We'll talk. We'll talk about that goal you scored with the other stick, but that's a fun thing, okay? I don't know how the hell you did that, but whatever. But I want to know one thing. When you got drafted, right? You got drafted, and you walked into Anaheim. Weren't you guys defending Stanley Cup champions? The year you got there?
Not the year that I was drafted.
The year after.
But I went to that training camp, and I was like, how the hell am I going to make this team?
That's exactly what I wanted to know.
No chance. So, but yes, the year after, when I started full-time, we were parading the Cup everywhere that year. And
no kidding.
It's insane.
Okay, Bobby. So now I'm you, and you walk into that dressing room, and you see Solani, you see Pronger, you see Niedermeyer, and then Getz and Perry were like kind of your age, right? They were a little bit older than you were, correct?
A couple of years, yeah.
How the hell? Like, how did you do that? Like, how did you not shit your pants, man? How the fuck?
No, I did.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Okay, well, there you go.
I did that for a full year, yeah.
Oh my god.
And like, so Corey Perry, obviously going through some shit right now.
Yeah.
That I know nothing about, but I'm playing on his line and scoring 30 goals and having 60 points, whatever it might be for your rookie year, which is an insane rookie year.
It is.
Dude, the guy wouldn't talk to me off the ice because he didn't feel like I had made it. But I'm like, you just went up. Like, how am I supposed to compare? So it took some time.
Wow.
But,
Oh my god.
But but that was just the way the league was back then. Like Carey Price went through it where you guys are, I'm sure, in a different way.
Holy shit! I didn't know that.
Who knows? Maybe one day we'll be able to ask him.
Yeah, Carrie even went through some public stuff here too. So yeah, this is a town where you can't do much without being seen under a microscope.
Not here.
Yeah,
you can't go get milk here without people freaking out, right?
Yeah.
So I'll tell you, I got drafted in 05, right? Lockout year.
Right behind Sidney Crosby.
Yeah.
Oh,
So if it weren't for Sidney Crosby, I don't think we would have had a public draft. But they brought
Really?
It'd have been like, you guys are going here on the internet, and we would have been fine. But they threw that together, and I got drafted. And Pricer and I, went two. I went two. He went
5, I think.
5. Yeah.
5. Yeah.
Yeah. And a couple other guys. So we get drafted in Ottawa.
Yeah. No shit. Yeah.
And we're right across the border from Hull, where they're like, "Hey, the drinking age is 18 over here," and I was like, "Oh, buddy."
Yeah.
So, of course, we went directly across the border.
Of course.
And had ourselves a night, but Racer, and not because it's not a bad story, but we all had our draft hats on. They just happened to be on. Like we weren't wearing our jerseys or anything like that. And the bar, I'll never forget, it was called Cosmos in Hull, Quebec. And they're like, you're not allowed to wear hats at the bar. I'm like, dude, it's Carey Price. He just got drafted 5th overall by the Canadians. They're like, we don't care. Take your hats off.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So at some point, Carey's hat comes back on his head, and they come and grab us and start pulling us out the door. And like, we're 18, so we're like, all right, we're not in trouble or whatever. But I'll never forget getting pulled out of a bar
the day you got drafted
for wearing a hat.
That's
after being the
crazy.
5th draft pick, and I just happened to be next to him. They had no clue who I was, but they knew exactly who I was.
That's crazy, man. Considering Quebec, Mike, it's not like that.
No,
It's
I know.
like I said,
I
Mike
figure.
and I are musicians, and I'm telling you, if you sold beer in Canada and the United States, I played there, okay? And so did Mike.
Yeah,
and
pretty much.
I'd never heard of that. Somebody throwing you out because you're wearing a cap.
Yeah, well, I mean, I can actually tell you when I was in Sudbury, Ontario once with the band on tour, actually.
At the Colson?
No, actually at a shopping mall in the daytime.
Okay.
And they threw us out of the mall because we swore.
What?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah, because
insane.
no swearing here. That's a public bylaw. You guys have to leave. They threw us out.
That's nuts.
You know what,
That's
There's an insane amount of good-looking girls in Sudbury.
Yeah.
got that right. Well, listen.
All 12 of them.
I
But
better,
yeah.
I better shut up. I better shut up. I was like, yeah. Those are like the prime years.
Yeah.
Oh man, those are the prime years. So, Bobby, your first 4 years, if I remember correctly, I even looked it up a bit. You had like 30 goals, man, every year. The first 4 years that you played, 30 goals. That's insane, man. That's pretty good. That's awesome.
Yeah, honestly, I'd love to take credit for it. And injuries were
Yeah.
obviously paramount for me. And you just miss a lot of time, and then especially with hand injuries, which I had a lot of, you can never really get back to the way that you want it to be. But I had a really good start, and obviously very, very beneficial that I was playing with Getzlaff and Perry. And
Who wouldn't talk to you off the ice?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. But I think we had a period of time where we were probably the best line in hockey.
Yeah,
For
probably.
the
Yeah,
year.
I'd agree.
Yeah, we didn't win. We couldn't get past Datsuk. That guy drove us nuts in Detroit.
You and everybody else in the fucking
Yeah.
league. Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, what a
And-
human
and-
highlight reel, that guy.
God, how good! Like back then too, Zetterberg. We were never able to get
all those
past
guys
those
back then.
Yeah, it was just a different game, but yeah, I was very fortunate, and like obviously my gift was going to be, and I had to switch. Like I was a right winger, and they said, "Hey, we have a right winger in Corey
Well,
Perry.
yeah.
Like go
Yeah.
learn how to play the left," which I did on the fly, but that developed a one-timer that I didn't necessarily have coming into the league, but all of a sudden you're playing with those two, and you have to develop that. So
No kidding.
I did. I got lucky enough to play with them for 4 years, and yeah, it led
30
to,
goals every year. Are you kidding me?
Yeah,
Man,
and
are you
like,
kidding me?
dude, like 30 easy goals. Like,
No.
yeah, like I had some backdoor tap-ins and one-timers that,
Well, yeah, of course.
You know what? I'm a big
Dream
believer.
yeah,
Listen, man. I'm a big believer. If they cross the line, they count. I don't care. What's the saying? They don't ask you how many, or no, they ask you how many, not how many, right?
they don't ask you how. They
how.
ask you
They ask you how many.
I think that's more like
something
a-
like that. Yeah, something like that. See, that's why I don't play.
Nowadays, when I make a really shitty birdie and people get mad, I'm like, well, there's no pictures on this spreadsheet.
That's right. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Exactly. So, exactly. It doesn't matter. But then you got moved to Ottawa, correct? That was a big trade here in Canada, in Ottawa, right? It was for that. It was Silverberg, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Silverberg,
Nosen, Nason, whatever his name is. Nosen,
yeah,
Nason.
and a first-round pick.
And a
yeah.
first rounder. That's right. How did you feel going from Ottawa, where no disrespect, from Anaheim, no disrespect to Anaheim, where it's yes, they won the cup, but nobody cares. And then you come to Ottawa, where you had Spets was there, right? Spets was there when you got there.
Yeah.
Was Heatley still there?
Heatley was long gone.
He was already gone, right?
was long
But
gone.
Carlson was there. Eric was there,
He
right?
was there. Yeah.
Because I remember you guys.
Kyle
How did,
Turret,
how,
and,
yeah, how did that
That
happen?
was
Yeah. How did that go, man? How was the switch from going from Anaheim to Ottawa? Was like, not Mecca, but you know what I mean, right?
100%. It was tough. It was a really hard adjustment because I knew that a trade was coming.
Yeah.
Getz and Pears had re-upped for 8 years at $8 million, and I was the only money that they were able to move because I had no say. Right, I was on a
That
second
sucks.
contract, so
Yeah.
we looked at the logistics, and I remember saying to my wife at the time, I said, we're 100% getting traded. It's just a matter of when, not if. We got traded in the middle of summer. I went there. Truth be told, I fell in love with the city in Ottawa. I did not realize the gravity of how much anonymity I was going to lose. Right?
Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely.
We played on Sunday night at 5:00 in Anaheim, and nobody was at the game except for who was at the game. We'd go to the bar,
wild.
we'd have drinks, we'd have dinner. Nobody talked about it. To my life switching 100%, to the point where you have to learn how to grocery shop at off hours. You have to learn how to do different things. It's just a different lifestyle.
And that's before Uber.
Yeah. So,
That's crazy.
but I will say this: I learned to love it. I learned to embrace it to a degree, and I learned that everybody that goes to the game, how do I want to put it? Everybody that goes to the games there has a very, very vested interest in how
Of course.
you're playing, but how you're doing. And that wasn't the same in Anaheim. In Anaheim, they just cared about the product, and it's not a fair weather fan thing. It's not to
Absolutely.
spam them, but it's just a different atmosphere where the people that were upset at me because I'm hurt and I'm making $8 million and I'm sitting on the bench because I'm hurt or on the sidelines,
They don't get it. They don't get it.
Yeah.
they don't get it,
Okay.
but they cared, and that's that. And I still go back to Ottawa from time to time, and I think that the fans will always have a soft spot for me because of what I went through publicly there.
Yeah.
But I do believe that I was always candid, I was always forthright, and I think they have a level of respect for that I don't think you get in a fair weather city.
But it's like you said, though. I don't think it's for everybody. It's not.
Well,
when you go from that to that. I mean, how many guys here in Montreal? Look, we're from Montreal.
I'll give you a perfect example.
What?
I was at the Habs game yesterday against
Okay.
Pittsburgh, right? Sid the Kid, had to
Everybody
go
was
watch
there,
him. And when they went into shootout, Gallagher he wasn't the best player on the ice, but I felt he played an okay game,
Yeah.
But you know how it is. Everybody here says, "Oh, his contract."
They boo the
Dude,
shit
that
out.
guy, he signed his soul to the Montreal Canadiens.
Doesn't matter.
All right,
Doesn't matter.
but
Not here, man.
the fans gave him a standing ovation when he went up for the shootout. It was insane.
And they booed Sidney.
And then as soon as he didn't score, everybody just sat down.
It's not for everybody. Look, coming from Montreal, man, and we see it, Mike. You're friends with some former players. So am I. It's not the same, man. It's just not the same. You go for no one gives a rat's ass to. You gotta disguise your children. You have to put them in fucking costumes. Because people are gonna harass you. You remember?
Yeah.
Remember all that shit that happened with Josie Theodore?
Yeah.
Remember
Yeah, I
all
do.
that?
Yeah.
And at his house. Are you fucking for real? You gotta, So I must have been a hell of an adjustment for you, man.
It was a change. Actually, my first year there happened to be the same year that George Peros was in Montreal.
Oh yeah.
Oh man,
And-
your former teammate in Anaheim, yeah.
Exactly. Roommates, everything. And I went
man.
there. I went to Montreal for Christmas to be with George.
With George? Oh,
Yeah,
That's
and-
insane.
yeah, and his family. And I remember he lived in Old Montreal, which I don't.
beautiful.
By the way, I don't understand why every single player doesn't live in Old Montreal.
It's gorgeous out there.
Holy
It's
hell!
right next to the
Traffic,
rink too.
because
Is
you'll
that
have to
why?
leave Monday for your Tuesday game. That's why.
Okay.
It's
All right, well,
nuts. It's fucking nuts.
live
I
there.
hit about 2 hours of traffic yesterday.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, and I was over there with another player came, Drew Whiskey. Is that the name? Remember you? Remember
Jonathan
that whole-
Drewiski, right?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
We had an amazing Christmas, but I spent Christmas in Montreal my first year in Canada. And I remember we took George at the time had really young kids. I had none yet at this point, but we went to the ice rink and George had to put a toque on
See?
and basically hide himself to
And that's George Paros. No disrespect to him.
yeah,
You know what I mean, right?
Yeah, that's George Paros, yeah. That's that's not who anybody wants to see.
Exactly. That like at the time, like it's not Max
It's not
Pacioretty.
Carey Price.
It's not Carey Price. It's not Brendan. You know what I mean? Like you know what it is, Mike. You know what it is. We
Yeah.
see it here. You remember when we were at the F1? You and I.
Yeah.
And Eller and Plekanec, and they were all there. Remember they were all there.
I do.
And they were literally, Bobby. They were literally like this. Like literally hiding their faces. And I'm not gonna say I understand it because I don't live that. But I it must suck, man. It must really suck. You
I
got
used to absolutely cringe when I would leave the rink on a game or not on a game day but a practice day, and my wife would say, "We need this for the house." Just
Oh man,
That's not happening.
you have to stop at Sobeys
Yeah.
to go get it, or Farm Boy or whatever it was. But I remember,
not
like, I used to have to like put the hood up and put the head down.
insane.
And pray that you don't get
Crazy.
caught. Like,
That's crazy, man. That sucks.
It is
That
what it
sucks,
is.
man.
Yeah, it is what
It is what it is. So, Bobby, now you're doing this. What's it called? Coming in hot thing, right? You have like
Yeah.
a podcast. That's with Brent Wallace from TSN, correct?
Exactly. Yeah. And
He just-
Jason York. Yeah.
And Jason York. How did that come along? Like, was it the Ottawa Senators that asked you to do that, or
No,
When you-
it was.
you guys just decided, or?
I guess in a roundabout way to answer your question, yes. But so Wally, Brent Wallace, excuse me, and
Yes, yeah.
and Mark My Thought had the show going for a while.
Yes. Yes.
And then I think Mark had decided, hey, I'm kind of venturing into this market where now he's hosting games.
he's
and-
picked. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's picked up.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he had moved on. Wally and Meth had me on a ton, and just said, like, is this something you want to explore? And my answer, honestly, was no.
wow.
Wasn't something I was looking to do.
Okay.
But I did like the fact that, like I'm in the South. There's the Preds are 30 miles up the road or whatever, but you're just kind of disconnected from the game to a degree. This kind of provided me an opportunity to not only talk hockey, but feel like you're in a locker room. Like I love going back and forth with
Yeah.
Ollie
That's,
and
that's what you probably miss the most, right?
100%. Yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
That's what everybody
The day-to-day
misses.
stuff. And like I mean, I talked to so many players that I played
Yeah.
with, and we all go back and forth. But this gave me an opportunity to cover a team that I was passionate about, cover a team that I saw, like, we took our shot, we fell short,
Yeah.
and then the team changed dramatically, and now it went through this rebuild. And like, I don't think I would have hopped into something like this if I didn't really believe the team was going up.
Well, that's my next question. That was I was going to ask you. About
Yeah,
that.
and I won't answer it now, but I do
Yeah,
believe
yeah.
they're trajecting the way that I would like to cover a team.
We said the same thing, Mike. Remember?
Yeah.
At the beginning of this whole thing.
So we actually picked, like in the beginning,
Yeah.
we kind of did some predictions, even in the earlier episodes and such. And we picked Ottawa to be red hot this year. We thought they were going to be the surprise team. Like
Corpusalo.
we all said Corpusalo was going to be the game changer for them.
Yeah, we really believed it.
I really, really, really believe that. I'm like, we also said that was a sneak pick. Remember?
Yeah.
That
I
was a
called
sneak
it the
pickup.
gem pick of
Yeah,
the
yeah.
the
We actually
offseason.
believe in. Listen, we're gonna run through it. Okay. First of all, I just want to ask you something about the Sens now. They're all talking about DJ Smith, right, and Steve Stais and the whole thing, right? Do you think, and you know, whatever, even if they do change DJ Smith, do you think that does it, or is
No.
it more than that?
No,
exactly.
I agree.
See, I totally agree. I totally agree.
And we had this, I guess, discussion the last couple of days because Sens fans are calling for DJ Smith's head.
Yeah, they're booing him almost like every night. It's disgusting.
Sounds like old Montreal,
terrible.
man.
It's like Montreal. It's disgusting.
yeah.
It sucks.
Yeah.
No, seriously, it sucks. Can you imagine? You're behind the bench. You're trying your best. You're not on the ice, right? And everybody, boo, get rid of DJ, whatever. Fire DJ, fire. Come on, man. Come on. No
Yeah,
class.
I think that I do think change is coming for them. I don't think it's going to be this. And here's what I've said about the Sens. Whether or not DJ's the guy, that's not for us to determine. It's not for the fans to determine. Do you know who it's the players and it's the
players.
owner. And it's the owner.
Yeah.
And Michael Andlauer just bought this team.
Yeah, the new owner, exactly.
Exactly. He has not had 6 years of hurt that the fans are
That's
expressing.
right. He's at 6 weeks, exactly.
Yeah, and
Exactly.
he got hit with all kinds of bullshit as soon as he got in the
Yeah,
team.
no kidding.
Which
No, dude,
we
that guy
had a whole episode on it.
for sure. But when
Yeah.
you break it down, like, and I tried to look at it objectively because, like, do I think they need to change? Yes. But I don't think that change is necessarily DJ or the assistants at this point in time because
Yeah.
whatever you do is going to fix 10 weeks, but
Yeah.
it's not going to fix 6 years.
That's right.
Yep.
That's right.
This team does not need a Band-Aid coach, which is exactly what you would be getting. This team
Yeah.
they need to reassess, and they need to understand that whoever they're bringing in is the guy for the future.
To fix it, exactly.
Yeah.
See, because, I mean, look, when you look at it on paper,
They have a wicked
they
team.
have Brady Kachuk, they got Stutzla, Norris, Pinto when the suspension is up, right?
Yeah.
Because that's another stupidity. Batherson, right? In the back, Chikrin, Zub, Brandstrom.
It's insane.
Hamannik,
Shabbat.
Sanderson. Shabbat is always hurt, though. You know
But
what?
he's still Shabbat.
I know.
Yeah.
But he's like, honest to God, this kid, man.
Yeah.
Like, dude, come on, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Wrap yourself up with some fucking Teflon or something. I don't know.
Maybe they're
'Cause
missing
it's
the
not
Bobby Ryan.
Yeah.
Yeah, really. And then, honest to God, I thought with Corpusalo this year was going to be the difference maker. I was thinking 7-8, getting in, fighting for the wild card,
Yeah.
But I don't know, man. I don't know. Like it's not happening. I don't understand why.
Yeah, but
I
I
don't get
mean,
it.
even if
They're
you look
missing
at
a lot right now. They're missing a lot.
But what do you think is missing, Bobby? What do you think is
They
missing?
have no identity. There's no identity of a team. You don't know what you're getting. You're gonna go out like they lost to Carolina in what I think was probably the most embarrassing loss that I've watched since covering them.
They were
And
saying
it's
that
not
too.
because Carolina was better. It was because they shot themselves in the foot over and over again. They made mistakes that compounded. But at the flip side, they just ran the table last week against Toronto, Detroit, and forgive me for
That was last.
whoever it was.
Yeah, 2 nights ago.
But they ran the table against 3 really good teams. So it's like,
Yeah.
for me, they don't have a fail-safe team where, hey, our best night is not happening. We have to subtract from what we're not getting and be
Yeah.
this. And they don't do that well. They don't do
Yeah,
that well.
see,
They
and
give
I don't
away-
believe.
Poor
I don't believe a change of
Corpusalo.
coach will fix that. I don't think a change of coach fixes that. Because
No.
obviously everybody knows you can't fire fucking 23 guys, 22 guys. You can't do
No.
that. I get it. You can't do that. I'm not, The thing is, even if they do bring in a guy, it's like you said, it's going to be a band-aid. Because of the guys, and you know how the National Hockey League works, guys, they always like recycle the guys. I mean, even now, look what happened yesterday. The Chief got fired
yeah,
yesterday.
it doesn't make sense.
Berube got fired yesterday. The guy won a cup 4 years ago. 4 years ago.
Yeah.
And he's gone already. And from what everybody says, from all accounts, the guy's one of the nicest people on the planet. But you know what? It doesn't matter. And what? You think it's going to fix the St. Louis Blues?
It's very much a "what have you done for me lately"
That's
situation.
exactly what
you
it
know,
is.
we were talking about this
is
like
the league.
right
Yeah.
before we hopped on here. We were talking about Jordan Kyrou. As much as we are a players podcast,
Did you hear what he said?
that statement he posed, he
Terrible.
said it was like,
It's terrible. How
He's
do you
not
feel
coach
about?
anymore, right? Or
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean,
it's
come
like, I don't
come on, dude. Why would you say something like
Yeah.
that? That's terrible.
kind of throwing him under the bus a little
They
bit.
are throwing him under
little
the
bit.
bus. It just sucks, man. It just sucks. And now with the sticking with the Senators, obviously I'm gonna stick with the Senators. They have Giroux's he's having an okay year, right? Tarasenko's on his I mean, what do you want from a guy that's 30, whatever,
32. Yeah.
Yeah, like what do you expect? I mean, I just for what they have on paper, and I understand the game's not played on paper. I get it, man. But on paper, they look like we also said it.
They
We
look
said it at the
really
beginning.
good.
I really
So did
thought they were
Edmonton.
gonna scrape. Well, Edmonton's flying.
Edmonton's
now,
turning it around. I knew they
Edmonton's
would.
turning around.
Yeah.
Mike's an Edmonton fan,
I'm
so
Edmonton fan right
he's
here,
been
Bob.
he's been an
So,
Oilers fan for all his life. So
Yeah.
I had him in the Stanley Cup final. So
so
did we.
All three of us
So
did.
did we, and I'm like, oh, what the hell do we do, guys?
We
What
look
the
like a
hell?
bunch of
honestly,
clowns.
though, they're gonna climb.
Yep.
And they're gonna climb because of 2 people.
Wow,
Truth be told.
Yeah.
of course.
But so, and let's be clear, we're talking about McDavid and Draisaitl.
Obviously.
Ottawa doesn't have. Yeah, well, it wasn't Yamamoto. I love that guy.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. He's not even there.
Yeah, he's a Coeur d'Alene, Idaho kid, so I spend a lot
Yeah.
of time
Oh, wow.
Oh, nice.
Cool.
with him. I love him. So I'm not.
He was a
picking-
great player though.
Yeah.
I'd
Actually,
like.
he's pretty freaking good when you
Yeah.
He skates like the wind.
when you break down what he does during a game and like watch him play. Like, everything's positive. There's
Yep.
no negative plays.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Anyway, we'll branch off that.
Yeah.
But Ottawa does not have the luxury of
Of the two.
McDavid ripping off 15 points in 5, whatever, like
Ridiculous.
whatever he's on right
21,
now.
That's
21
insane.
points in 8 games or something like that.
Yeah.
What a stupidity.
Yeah, bro, take
Oh
a
my
nap.
god.
Um,
Yeah, really. Relax, bro.
Tim Stützle
Sparkman.
is damn good, and Tim Stützle
Yeah, he is.
Tim Stützle to me is going to work himself into these conversations.
I love him. I love him. I think he's a little
He's not
feisty
there
little
yet.
fuck.
Early on in his career,
What?
I found he was a little bit annoying with the diving.
No, that's what I love him.
Still
I
annoying with the diving. I love
It's
him.
not as bad. He's
I
not
love
as bad. He's not as
I
bad.
love him. He's a little shit disturber. I fucking love him. But he answers the bell, man. He
Yeah,
scores. I don't care.
exactly.
He
That's
scores.
why he's not that bad anymore. He's proving
You know,
it.
It's one thing if you're a little shit disturber and then you go run.
Yeah.
So let me ask you.
He absolutely
Yeah,
commands the ice when he's on the ice.
I love him. Go ahead,
Phenomenal.
Mike.
Yeah. So let me ask you a question. Do you think that the DeBrincat departure really was the thing that kind of would have turned it around had he stayed? Do you think that may have been the thing that kind of pushed them in the wrong direction?
No, I think no. I think what they're struggling with right now is the fact that Dominic Kubalik, when you look at the trade, was what you have to show for it, and that looks ugly on paper right now.
Yeah, it didn't pan out.
It did not pan out. But when you look at the long-term cap situation and what that would have cost him, I don't think he was the player. I just didn't. I didn't see the fit. I didn't see the way that he played. You're essentially paying him and Drake Batherson this, an outrageous difference in money for the same player when you already had one of that mold.
Drake Batherson, that's another crazy player right there.
Yeah, well,
Dude, he's sick.
So much raw talent, it's insane. I saw him in the AHL a lot, and
Okay.
Watch him, yeah.
I went out to Belleville back when he was playing out there because we just do little road trips sometimes, watch some games, and this kid was phenomenal. I remember my fiance being like, "That kid is going to be in the NHL," and like a week later, he was in the NHL. I was like, "What the fuck?"
he's that good, man. He's that good.
I love him, and we have a really good relationship, but we still go back and forth all the time. So I might be a little biased. But when you look at what players are making in the league, and you say Drake Batherson cost you $4.8 million, and he gives you this, like I argue that he's the second most important player on the Sens behind Timmy Stützle.
Yeah, I could agree with that.
I think he's just a phenomenal talent.
He is.
And me being selfish and like watching him come up and like assert himself and learn how to be in the league every day. Like I'm a really, really big Drake fan. Really big fan of the player and the person.
Yeah, that's amazing because he's an amazing player. He's an amazing player, man.
Yeah.
You know what? I wish them all the best because, like I said, they're making us look like fools right now. But so is Edmonton.
Yeah.
So is
Edmonton.
Vancouver. We had them at the bottom of the rankings.
I said Vancouver. No, they don't stand a chance. They're going to be the last place of all the Canadian teams. And look at that. I don't know. We look like a bunch of hams. Like, what the hell are we talking about?
Pulling out drawers right now. I just moved into this house a couple days ago, so I don't have my projections. I had them laid out at my old house, and they're somewhere in this area. But that all being said, like, who the hell would have thought Brock Besser is going to have 21 goals?
Right?
That's. I'm telling you, man. We said it, Mike. We said it last time, right? I don't understand.
I believe now. So Quinn Hughes currently at the moment, I believe he's holding the league lead in points. So
no, it's Kucherov.
Oh, it's Kucherov now. Yeah, they go back and forth.
Yeah.
But I think the last defenseman to lead the NHL in points was Bobby Orr.
Fucking Bobby Orr
in a season.
Well,
So-
in the season, no, wasn't what's his name in the Washington?
No, it was Bob. It was Bobby.
Really?
Yeah.
To lead then? Anyway.
Mike Green was
No,
up there
even
with
the other guy that I
Ovi
got
back
my
in the
cousin
day
the
too.
stick from.
Kramer had
Carlson.
a few 20 goal seasons. I remember that.
Yeah.
But
Unbelievable, man.
like the things that Quinn Hughes, and again, time change. So you guys are in the same boat. Sometimes I kind of take for granted. And I'll get a first period snippet of what they're doing.
Yeah.
But man, the way that kid buys space and time, whole nother level.
The whole family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
whole family.
This brings me to something that I really want to ask you, and this is something that we've discussed on this show quite a few times. And considering you're an American player, I really want to ask you this question.
Yeah.
Oh, I know where you're going with this.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
So, and if you watch our old episodes, you'll see us discussing this matter on other things. Yeah. So we're all, proud Canadians, and we grew up watching all the greats and so on and so forth. But Hockey Canada, we really feel like they've lost, like especially myself, like I really feel like they've lost the script. And it seems to me like there's so much of this off-ice nonsense. There's so much of this, let's turn it from the National Hockey League to the no-hitting league. Let's do this whole thing. And what I've noticed is that the American system, meanwhile, is basically teaching the old Canadian game. And as a result, this new generation of star players, be it the Hughes brothers, be it Zegras, Caulfield, Austin Matthews, the list goes on and on. You know what I mean? It seems to me like we're finally catching up to that point where the American system seems to be overstepping because Canada's getting way too caught up in things that are not based on the ice. Yes, you have the Connor Bedards. Yes, you have these standout players, of course. You'll always have these special cases. But on a more consistent level, it seems to me like the United States program is just putting out way more high quality hockey players. What do you think?
Well,
Put him on the spot.
Agree with you. But I would say that the U.S. has lost the script here in the last couple of years too, because I'm like my son's just starting, and I'm kind of watching him start in the U.S. program of USA Hockey. So at the grassroots level, like think of the lowest and the youngest, I think that they're missing the mark here.
Oh wow!
But I do believe that the U.S. has just finally been so educated on the game that we are now experiencing years and years of players that weren't developed coming online. Whereas Hockey Canada has been so used to developing the best of the best and still does, truthfully, when you really break it down, like number-wise. Hockey Canada does. I don't like the way the game's changed.
I was going to ask you that.
I don't like the way that you're taking physical contact out until players are 16, whatever it might be.
That's so stupid.
I actually, and I break it down. Like I want my kid's 5. I want him to learn how to check at 7.
Of course. Of course. I was telling the guys when I used to play, I'm 55, but when I used to play, Bobby, we had practices at 6 o'clock in the morning every Saturday, Sunday, and we would learn how to take and give a hit.
Yeah.
So then when we got to the games, we wouldn't get hurt. They're taking hitting away from the game now. I had a friend of mine, Gabby, who says he lives in Florida. He says his son plays. They're not allowed to hit. They're not allowed to do this. They're not allowed to do that. So the first day this kid's going to go out and do it, he's in danger. He's going to get killed.
Yeah.
And
he won't know how to take a hit.
And now you're introducing hitting it. Let's pick an age 12, where at some points at 12 years old, somebody's going to be 6 foot and one's going to be 5'1".
Exactly.
Or like
exactly. That's exactly what happened to me, man.
And
That's
nobody's
exactly
been
what
taught
happened
how
to me.
in a corner. So
my God.
Going back to Mike's question, I don't think Hockey Canada has lost the script. I think that other countries have figured out the script and caught up. The U.S. being probably number one.
That's a good answer.
That's true. That's true.
But what I do think is that we're losing the integrity of learning how to take a body check and hit. And so you take it at any level you want. The good Branson hit, that was not a bad hit.
Listen.
That's a big defenseman going back, not knowing how to take an angle because he doesn't think he's going to get a hit. Like that's what that was.
But even now, even the good hits are getting like shit on. You get a couple nights ago in Toronto. I think it was Jake McCabe.
Yeah,
he hit someone,
yeah.
and it started a whole. I'm like, what's the problem? It was a good check. Straight to the chest. I mean, what's the problem? No, but it stirred shit, and we're not allowed to do this. We're not allowed to do that. Yeah. What's the fucking point, man? I mean, are we playing hockey or are we playing chess? You want to play chess?
Yeah.
We'll play chess.
Hey, let's be honest that a lot of it's the generation that's watching the game.
Yes.
Right.
Oh, man, don't even get me started on that. Guys, I'm going to leave the room. I'm telling you, I'm going to leave the room. Man.
But it is awesome. It is awesome to hear what Bobby's saying because he had a career riddled with injuries, and he's all for the hitting.
Right. Obviously, because
you know what I mean. So it's like
it's not that, Yianni. It's part of the game. You can't take away. You know, like I said, I'm 55. Even when they took away that all the stupid rule changes, the goalies that can't touch the puck behind the net. Marty Brodeur was like your third defenseman on the ice. Code. You know what I mean? He was.
It's funny. I'm looking at a picture of him right now. Actually.
Marty, well, he grew up like a couple of streets away from me. So.
Anyway. Shit. Yeah. I'm looking at a picture of him and I that we took in Sherbrooke way back.
Oh wow. Wow,
that's awesome.
You know, but like then they tell you can't do that behind the net. So what's a guy? So his whole life he's been training for that, right? Because I'm sure Marty practiced that because he was the absolute best at it, right? And all of a sudden, oh, by the way, Marty, you can't do that no more. You can't do that. No, take it out. You know,
you're too good.
You're too good for that. So stop. What is that? It's bullshit. I mean, I remember growing up, man, when fucking Mike Palmatier would come up to the blue line and he'd get cracked. He was free game. You're out of your crease, you're free game. You know, it doesn't mean that you got to kill somebody.
Yeah.
Sorry?
I could not agree more. Yeah.
It's getting stupid. I mean, like the NFL, you can't touch the quarterback. And I understand you want to protect them. I get it. You want to protect your star players. I get it. I'm not stupid. I know it's all about the money. I understand. But when you take away one of the essentials, it's hitting. It's part of the game. It's part of the game. You're taking it out. It's really stupid. It doesn't make any sense to me. And the whole changes that they're trying to do now, come on. And then because of that, they try to justify everything else. Oh, maybe we have to make the nets bigger or we have to make the rink bigger. No, there's fucking nothing wrong with the game, man. Don't touch it.
I'm a complete traditionalist.
So am I.
I wasn't a fighter by any means, but I had no problem doing it when I had to be, had to be done, or when I felt like there was an injustice done, or whatever it might be. But I'm a traditionalist, and I think we have to be careful because I think that we're veering away from it. I hate 3-on-3. I hate shootouts.
Oh my
let's be honest, I made money in shootouts. That's what I was good at. But I do believe sometimes. And now they're talking about, hey, to get away from shootouts, let's make it 3 points for an overtime. And I'm like, no, it's not soccer. It's not.
Oh,
No.
man.
You play 60 minutes, and if the game ends 0-0, I should be a tie. Like,
You know what?
honestly. But people want to
100%.
see something.
Yes, sir.
But I absolutely, being the traditionalist that I am, I don't want to see fighting taken. I think that it serves its purpose. I think that a big hit serves a purpose.
Yeah.
What I don't like about today, and I think if I had one pet peeve about today's NHL game, we've always had the culture that if a teammate gets blown up with a hit, you defend that hit and you fight and whatever. But I thought that there was a period of time where it changed, and it changed during my career, and I can't pinpoint when. But a clean hit does not deserve a fight.
That's right.
Absolutely.
A clean, great hit does not deserve a fight, and that's what
You should stand up and clap is what you should do.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I remember, like, I took a beating one time for not defending a player, and I was like, but he had his head down. Like, that's not on me, and I'm not supposed to go get a 5-minute penalty because
Exactly.
Yeah.
Actually, the best and one of the best experiences that I've had was with Montreal media and Jeff Petrie playing. He was in Montreal, and I threw a pass, and he hit me, and you could call it like it was on the borderline of late, but he blew me up, and I remember like I was so concussed, but I didn't get pulled out of the game, so I finished the game, and I remember after the fact they were like, "Do you have a problem with the Petrie hit?" And I said, "What do you mean? Why would I have a problem with the hit?"
What happened?
Yeah.
And the guy was like, "Well, it was late," and I was like, "Well, you can decipher what's late because you can break it down. For me, I was following my pass,
That's
and
right. Head
Jeff
down.
blew me up, and like Jeff's a friend of mine."
Yeah, exactly.
But I was following my pass, watching it, and he blew me up, and that's what's supposed to happen. There's no reason to fight about it or have a discussion about it. And I remember walking away from the interview thinking, what an idiot question.
Yeah, well,
I have a question for you. You were talking about the fighting. One of your most memorable fights was against Kyle Turris.
a teammate.
Oh, here we go.
When you
All right.
So what happened there?
We weren't friendly. And we played together for a number of years, and we were line mates.
That's fucked up.
And I will say, I've played with, like, when you break down the centers that I was fortunate enough to play with, Getzlaf, Mika Zibanejad.
That's another great player right there.
Yeah, Spez for a spell, and Kyle Turris. And when you look at the way him and I played together, and then Clark MacArthur, who had a career way too short because of how good he was.
Concussions too.
Yeah, and one of my favorite people of all time. The three of us had a really good line for 1 year. We didn't really get to explore how deep that line could have been, mostly because Clarky was hurt, and that happens. But what I will say is, Terry and I played together on the ice extremely well. I like the way that he saw the game. He's very straight lined, which allowed me to go east to west a little bit. He pushed defenders back. We just were not friends off the ice, and sometimes that happens. And there was no vitriol. Like, we never had fights or anything like that. But we just sometimes you're going to play with guys that when you play with so many, you're going to see
just don't get along with everybody.
Exactly. Yeah.
You just don't get. You just don't get along with it.
I'll die on the hill that, like, if he was still my teammate today, I would fight somebody for him in a heartbeat.
Of course.
But we didn't see the life eye to eye. He got traded, and I think it was his first game back, give or take. And yeah, he had known my hand injuries, which were pretty severe. and he just happened to whack me enough that like, and I was already on edge that game. It was not a great game for me at that point, and it didn't even have to be Terry at that point. I was looking to do something to get myself out of this funk, and it was like I was fighting somebody.
Wow.
Just happened to be him, huh?
Yeah. So it just happened to be him, and then people made way more of it. But we fought, and it was I mean, he tried.
Yeah. Then there's the famous other scene where Mimmo brought up scoring with Mikko Koivu's stick.
That's you know what? Yeah. We're almost there, and I got to ask you, what the hell happened? I saw you pick up another, and then you actually put it in left-handed.
Yeah.
With the curve facing the other way.
So you know what's funny? I think that was like 13. I actually, and my girlfriend sitting over here doing stuff. I sent her the meme because somebody sent it to me today. The clip.
Oh
I
my
think
God.
It was 13 years ago today.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Exactly.
Wow.
Or yesterday or something like that.
Wow.
She's sitting over here like I didn't watch it. I don't care. She's from the give her a break. But dude, what a honest to God the weirdest play I've ever been part of because
Yeah, no shit.
like
Your reaction was just insane, though.
oh dude, I took a beating for that one because it was so cocky and so arrogant.
You were pointing at your
okay.
stick. You were pointing. You're like, hey, look at this. It's not my stick.
I would have done the same thing.
Why did you take a beating for it? Why? I would have done the same thing. So would everybody else.
I think everybody should.
Of course. Are you kidding me?
You scored in the National League, wrong-handed, backhanded, and
With someone else's stick.
yeah. With
Come
somebody else.
on.
Yeah.
But the play should have been drawn dead so far before that because he stole my stick out of my hand.
That's right.
Just completely flew into the radar. So I'm in this battle, and I'll never forget. Corey Perry's like, "Where's your stick?" And I was like, "I have no fucking clue."
The other guy's got.
Like, we're in this corner together, and you can actually see me in the corner just pushing people because I don't know what else to do.
Yeah.
And then you see me come out of the corner, and I have no clue, and I just see a stick laying there.
And you found his. That's right.
And I found the one that he had originally dropped, and
That's incredible.
It's insane.
the
That
rest
is-
of the play is whatever. It's a rebound that comes to me, and I do this.
Open it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Who cares? They count, man. They count.
Yeah.
There's no
Oh,
pictures
man.
in that score sheet.
Yeah, that's it. So, Bobby, look, it's almost time to go. Before we do, I just want to say the coming in hot thing, right? You're still on it. Almost. What is it? Every week? Is it?
Oh no, we're 3 times a week: Monday, Tuesday,
Oh,
Thursday.
wow.
Oh,
Good
okay.
stuff.
Wow. Okay, that's
Yeah.
great, man. That's great. That's awesome, man. Listen, before we get off here, I just want to say thank you so much for doing this. Thank you for those stories, man. It was really nice. Really nice talking to a former NHLer. It's no, honest to God, man. It's for us. It's a great thing. Thank you so much, man. I hope we can do this again sometime. And thank you for taking the time. Thank you for taking the time. And we're going to be pushing your Coming In Hot podcast, obviously. And I listen to it. Well, it's hockey,
So
man.
do I,
Like
here
I
and
said, we're just guys that just love to talk the game, man. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for being here with us. Greatly appreciate it. And we will do this again sometime.
Would love that.
Thank you.
Thanks for having
Thank
me.
you so
All right,
much.
Bobby.
Thank you, Bobby.
Thank you
so much,
Have a great
Bobby.
one. Thank you.
Have a great night.
Appreciate it, buddy.
You too.
Have a good one.